Have you ever wondered what ignited the spark that led to the American Civil War, one of the most pivotal events in U.S. history? The seeds of this conflict were sown in the fertile soil of disagreement over the expansion of slavery into the Western territories. This was no minor dispute. It was a clash of ideologies that divided the nation. The tension between the North, which sought to prevent the expansion of slavery, and the South, which saw this as an affront to its way of life, escalated dramatically. The election of Abraham Lincoln, a president who was openly against slavery, was the final straw for many in the South. Their response was secession, a drastic step that further deepened the rift. The first shot of the war was fired not by a soldier but by a disagreement that grew into a confrontation. When Fort Sumter was attacked in April of 1861, it marked the onset of the Civil War. And so, with the attack on Fort Sumter, the American Civil War began. A war that would forever change the landscape of the United States. As the war erupted, the North and the South were plunged into years of brutal conflict. But what exactly happened during those tumultuous years? In the early stages, the Confederacy claimed the first major victory in July of 1861, at the Battle of Bull Run. This Southern triumph sent shockwaves through the North, making it clear this conflict was not going to be a quick or easy affair. As the war raged on, President Abraham Lincoln made a monumental decision. In 1862, he issued the Emancipation Proclamation, forever changing the course of the war and the nation. This bold move declared that all enslaved people in Confederate-held territory were to be set free. This not only shifted the war's focus towards the issue of slavery, but also deterred European powers from supporting the Confederacy. The year of 1863 brought about the Battle of Gettysburg. This three-day clash resulted in a decisive Union victory, marking a significant turning point in the war. The Confederacy, which had been on the offensive, was now forced onto the defensive, and their hope for foreign intervention was all but extinguished. Simultaneously, the siege of Vicksburg was unfolding in the West. After a grueling 6-week siege, the Confederates were starved into submission, surrendering Vicksburg to Union forces on July 4, 1863. This victory gave the Union control of the Mississippi River, effectively splitting the Confederacy in two and disrupting their supply lines. Throughout the war, both the Union and the Confederacy experienced strategic victories and crushing losses. Their leaders, like Generals Robert E. Lee and Ulysses S. Grant, employed a range of strategies, from aggressive offensives to careful defensiveness, shaping the course of the war with each decision they made. The tide of the war ebbed and flowed, with both sides experiencing victories and losses until the tide turned decisively in favor of the Union. The war's end was drawing near, but the struggle was far from over, and the impact of these historic events would echo through the ages. The war was a long and bloody ordeal, but like all conflicts, it had to come to an end. How did this monumental war conclude, and what were its lasting effects? The final stages of the American Civil War saw the surrender of General Robert E. Lee at Appomattox Courthouse, marking a pivotal moment in this tumultuous chapter of American history. The war's conclusion didn't just signal an end to the battles, it ushered in a new era for the United States. The abolition of slavery was one of the most profound outcomes, forever altering the country's social fabric. Alongside this monumental change, the nation entered a period known as the Reconstruction Era, a time of rebuilding and reform. The war's aftermath had a lasting impact on American society and politics, with its echoes resonating even in modern times. The lessons learned from this period continue to shape the United States, reminding us of the power of unity and the cost of division. The American Civil War was a defining chapter in the nation's history, shaping the United States as we know it today.